Guys, welcome. Guys, welcome for the session. We will wait for a few minutes to let more people join, and then I will start. Meanwhile, where are you guys joining from? This session will be recorded. It's being recorded. Also, we'll wait for one more minute, and then we will start. Right. So let me start first with my introduction. My name is Rishabh Agrawal. I'm from India. I've been bubbling for over more than 2 years. I've done freelancing, and then I've taken full-time job at a AI health tech startup Percha, where I built their entire application from ground up. And now I'm currently building a platform for all bubblers where I'm kind of following a system-based building, which is a checklist-based system that will be helping and kind of building all our applications. Along with that, all the resources in like one place in one platform, which I'm calling Bubbling Book. So for today's design system, this is something kind of what I've been building, and our design system is setting up our entire design step by step, colors, typography, then setting our elements such as buttons, inputs. And for this, what I've built and I'm following is the checklist based system, which we will be following step by step and checking off things we have done. So five properties on which my design system is based on. First is the responsiveness, which we set through the breakpoints. The first thing we need to set up or understand while in designing is the responsiveness. Next are the states. States help us in building our interaction with the user or any element to let the user know that their state of interaction with the element. Motion, transition, and animation. Adding transitions to our elements and animations again help us elevate our user experience. Next is adding feedback like tooltips, help text, error messages, validation feedback. Feedback is a very important aspect in design to let users know of their interaction. The next is following a system of spacing. which is margins, paddings, gaps, and white negative space. This is so these are the five key properties which the design system is built. The next is like the naming structure, which is in which we follow the prefix plus element plus modifier plus state. So the prefix is, let's say, like a font, and then the primary would be the element naming would be like say primary, secondary, accent, and then a modifier which is bold or italic large, and then the state of whether it's hover or active. So this is one way where which a system I'm following for the naming. The next thing then we go is go and set a breakpoints from mobile to desktop, then setting a spacings, setting a base unit, let's say 4, and then setting a scale, which we will be following, adding spacing 4, 8, 16, 24. Next, the color palette, in which we will be including states, geography, following a hierarchy into into sizes and styling. So if everything is bold, nothing is bold, and then making building a hierarchy into a design system as we go below from heading to subheading, making sure we are putting the visual clue of either not making it bold or like decreasing the size. This is the design system in which then we move on to adding our icons, images, illustrations, setting our elements, containers, and then building a small component for say navigation, which would be pagination, breadcrumbs, aside menus, and similarly building more components into a design system on which the entire design for our application will then go through. So designing an element, this is a checklist that we will be following, which includes all the five key properties, the responsiveness, states, feedback, animation, and spacings. So I will show this in action in this sign up form that I've been building. So in this form, for the text element, how we will be setting our style for a text following the checklist. Let's say we are adding a style which is a heading. It would be text. Then we will be following our checklist to fill in the design. First is the color, which would be setting the color for the text. Font, for the header. Then setting breakpoints based conditions of what size, how the size of the text will decrease from a desktop size to a mobile size. As we see here, the five conditions based on breakpoints starting from 18 to 14, which we can then adjust, increase the size for the desktop as large as say 60. font size to 60 and then decreasing it with as we go below 48 or 32. So setting each for each breakpoint. Then if we have to set states for when it's hovered or it's pressed, similarly we can add a condition. When this text is covered, then we will add the effect what we want the text to do. In the form design, say we need to add a help text, should be say optional, making sure they are paddings, gaps. After putting the states, we'll add spacings, padding, margin, and gap. So following our style and then our spacings, padding like we can add 16, 8, or 32 here, and then also the row gap between the elements. Like if I make it 0, everything collapses and it doesn't look good. So adding a consistent spacing, adding the row gap makes it looks better and maintains the consistent designing. And also following the scale, it will be 32. Then understanding transition effect, we can see like in the button where we can add the transition say on when the button is on the background style and the color, and set the duration and the kind of transition that we want. If there's an animation, we'll add the animation. Tooltips, like for this icon, we can say enter email. So when we hover over it, it will say enter email. So on the feedback, and then adding a error text. If the email is invalid, then please enter a valid email. If you see this in action, like how when I click it, there's a transition effect of the box shadows when the input is focused. Enter an invalid email, then an error text appearing, which tells the email is invalid. So this is adding a error message along with the design. Check the sign up. Like right now, we see that the button is disabled. I enter my name, email, the password. And as soon as we do that, we see the button has gone from disabled to active. And now, as we see, when we are hovering over the button, we see the transition effect happening. The background style is changing and the box shadows are appearing. So this is a transition effect. Ready for validation, as we saw that if the email isn't valid, we see the borders are turning red, which is a form of feedback, a validation of an invalid validation for the input. Help text is something which we would say like optional. Status error messages. So this is a checklist, a system that I've been building and following for design. So this was a presentation for the design. Currently, I'm building more for database security than workflow, SEO, Stripe. So this is what something I'm working on and building more of it. Any doubts, any questions? Audible? Like I forgot to start. This one I started. Can you guys let me know in the chat? So this will be up on the platform Bubblingo next month. Currently, everything's still under work. We'll be launching the entire platform, and then on that you will be able to download the entire document, the checklist. You hear me, right? Yeah. Anyone else? Also, I'm sharing the link for the WhatsApp joining group. You can join this group, which is I've built for. I'm currently building a system, and I'm updating it every day in this group here. So if you're interested in further design in further systems, getting access to it, please you can join the WhatsApp link that I've sent. Then if no more queries, then let's end the session. Thank you everybody for joining the session, and I hope this was something of value of information for you all. Thanks a lot.